In the British TV series The Last Kingdom, Uhtred receives the nickname Arseling, but the deeper meaning of the word has actual historical relevance that goes beyond its obvious comedic value. While we've seen the show's creators build a world based on mostly real historical people and events, Uhtred's character is fictional, but inspired by a real historical figure. First up, Uhtred of Bebbanburg, aka Arseling. The Netflix series follows the fictional protagonist Uhtred, played by German actor Alexander Dreymon, in his struggling effort to reclaim his birthright of Bebbanburg during the formation of England in the Middle Ages. The moniker is given by one of King Alfred's soldiers, Leofric, played by Adrian Bower, and is initially meant to be derogatory. Even though Arseling has become synonymous with one's rear end in its modern English interpretation, the term has a more general meaning in Old English. Why was Uhtred called Arseling? In The Last Kingdom Season 1, Episode 4, Uhtred gets the Arseling nickname when Alfred and Oda the Elder make Leofric responsible for Uhtred. When Leofric meets him, he's taken aback by Uhtred's Danish resemblance and sword placement, which is on his back. At first, they hate each other, with Leofric giving Uhtred the comical nickname, but that friction vanishes once both men see each other acquit themselves in battle and observe one another's ability to endure setbacks with grit and wit. Now the show's historical accuracy. No historical account supports this placement, as it's inconvenient to draw a properly proportioned longsword from the back, but since Uhtred is wearing his sword incorrectly, the show's writers intentionally point this out by having Leofric use the nickname as an insult. The Last Kingdom, based on Bernard Cornwell's book series, The Saxon Stories, is more of an interpretation of history than an accurate account. In The Last Kingdom, Uhtred's nickname comes from the Middle English word Arseling, which means backward, as in going in the direction of one's backside. It comes from the Old English word Earsling, which can also mean on one's back or from one's backside. The Arseling nickname is used for comedy in The Last Kingdom, but its meaning is true. This is an incredibly subtle nod to history that demonstrates the writer's research and reverence for the show while remaining true to the genre. Such accurate hidden links to the past are a reward for history buffs with keen eyes. The Last Kingdom's fictional characters have historical connections, albeit with apparent intentional inaccuracies. Now more on Uhtred's character. His ancestors are Saxon, his soul is Viking, and England is his battleground. Uhtred is the man in the middle, the pivotal figure in The Last Kingdom. Uhtred, who was born a Saxon but raised as a Dane, realizes that his bloodline represents the future of his war-torn country. He's obsessed with reclaiming his family's ancestral seat at Bebbanburg, caught between the needs of the pious Saxon King Alfred and his loyalty to his beloved Viking brother Ragnar. Though Uhtred values loyalty highly, he's always scheming, always working to win back his rightful seat as the heir of Bebbanburg, and it doesn't seem to matter to him whether it's the Saxons or Danes who ultimately help him do it. It's natural for him to be a little restless, what with split loyalties and the weight of destiny on his shoulders. Good thing he's a man of action. Uhtred is brutally honest, fearless to the point of recklessness, and a skilled leader of men. He's exciting to watch, even when he's making the occasional rash decision, being a bit too quick to swing his sword or making everybody's life more difficult by refusing to bow to political whims. So, is Uhtred's Bebbanburg real? Seven Kings Must Die will most likely explore more of Uhtred's historical homeland now that he has reclaimed Bebbanburg. Like so many of Cornwell's masterfully written shows, Bebbanburg is based on a real historical location. The real Bebbanburg Castle, as depicted in the series, is located on the northeastern coast of England, in the modern-day country of Northumberland. However, while the shoreline fortress is referred to in The Last Kingdom by its Saxon name, Bebbanburg, the stronghold is now known as Bamburgh Castle. Bamburgh Castle, which overlooks the North Sea, was once known by its Anglo-Saxon name Bebbanburg for a short time during the 7th century before being renamed. Similarly, Uhtred's land in The Last Kingdom is a nod to the period which the series is set in, with Northumbria being the Saxon name for a large area of northern England that includes modern-day Northumberland. It's also true that the Danes settled there in the early 10th century, which is when The Last Kingdom Season 5 takes place. While the real Bamburgh Castle was used for the establishing shots of Bebbanburg in The Last Kingdom, none of the interiors of the historic fortress were used in the series. The courtyard of the castle and all interior shots were shot on sets built in Budapest, as were the dramatic scenes from Season 4 of The Last Kingdom, which which show Uhtred breaking into the castle's sea gate with his men. Similarly, the upcoming film Seven Kings Must Die from the Last Kingdom is currently being shot in Hungary. So, where will Netflix be taking The Last Kingdom? While Netflix unexpectedly decided to cancel the popular series following its recently concluded 5th season, The Last Kingdom will conclude with a film titled Seven Kings Must Die. There is certainly no shortage of material to work with 3 of Cornwell's novels still unadapted and many plot threads that need to be resolved, so the show continuing in some form is a relief. The Last Kingdom hopefully will end as strong as it began, regularly tying its storytelling to history and nodding to true events while not limiting itself to those true facts and figures. Now, in other news, Deborah Chow teases Obi-Wan Kenobi's future Star Wars cameos. Deborah Chow, the director of Obi-Wan Kenobi, teases future Star Wars cameos in the franchise's latest Disney Plus series. Set 10 years after the fall of the Republic in Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, the new show finds Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, living in exile on Tatooine while watching over and protecting a young Luke Skywalker. When Princess Leia, played by Vivian Lyra Blair, is kidnapped by mercenaries hired by the Inquisitor Reva, her adoptive father, Bail Organa, turns to Obi-Wan as his only hope of rescuing her. Chow previously stated that, because the series takes place only 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, the show's strongest Star Wars tie will be to the prequel trilogy. Characters from those films have already appeared in Obi-Wan Kenobi Episodes 1 and 2. Smiths reprises his role as Bail Organa, who appeared in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and Joel Egerton reprised his role as Luke's Uncle Owen, who appeared in all 3 prequels. Chow teases more cameos in the remaining episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi in a recent interview with Rotten Tomatoes TV. When asked about the possibility of more Easter eggs and appearances by well-known Star Wars characters, director explains that the franchise's connection to other media is woven into its fabric. Next, R.M. Arseling prepares to leave the blacklist. Arseling is leaving the blacklist to prepare for his Broadway debut as Amir in The Kite Runner this summer. Arseling explained his reasons for leaving the NBC show in a statement to Deadline. He stated that he was leaving the show because performing on Broadway has been a childhood dream of his. The Aram actor expressed gratitude for the opportunity to play his character on the blacklist from seasons 1 to 9, but he couldn't pass up the chance to pursue his lifelong dream. Still, Arsen's departure from the blacklist does not necessarily mean the end of Aram Mohatabi. Since Aram left to focus on his health, the character has the potential to return in future seasons of the blacklist. The Blacklist Season 10 was renewed by NBC in February, so Aram could return as soon as next year. For the time being, fans can see Arseling in his next performance when he makes his Broadway debut in July. And Stranger Things Season 4 Episode 1 now has a content warning. Following the tragic school shooting in Texas, Netflix has added a content warning to the first episode of Stranger Things Season 4. Stranger Things Season 4 premiered on Netflix last week, returning to Hawkins, Indiana, picking up the story of Eleven, played by Millie Bobby Brown, Mike, played by Finn Wolfhard, and the rest of the gang following the emotional Series 3 finale. The new season is more horror-inspired than previous seasons, with Vecna, an otherworldly being from the Upside Down, serving as a terrifying new villain. In light of the recent school shooting in Texas that killed 21, Netflix has added a content advisory to the first episode of Stranger Things Season 4, warning that the opening sequence may be disturbing to some viewers. The brief message confirms that the episode was shot a year before the shooting and expresses condolences to those affected by the tragedy. That's a wrap for this video. We couldn't help but try and do some of our own research about the Last Kingdom's interesting choice of nicknames for Uhtred. Were you curious about the origin of Arseling, or was it just us? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.